So you know that Sergeant Greenspane with the Port Townsend Police? Well, he is an absolute danger to the community. So you might be like, oh, he's a nice guy and he's suave and all the ladies like him and he's just a good guy, right? And he's, I think, from here. The thing is that he is a very bad man in the fact that he's dumb and he's partisan, and I got my friends, you know, they've been around here for decades. Round these parts, you know, we pick my friends and not your rights. So, the officer cam footage where he trespassed Julie Jamon, Amy Sousa, and Katie Daviscourt from the YMCA. You can see him when he goes into the YMCA, he talks to the YMCA manager. He's like, well, we can't really trespass them because it's city property. You got to give them notice. You got to give them this, you got to give them that. But the whole thing's over them banning Julie Jamon without giving her notice, right? So he knows he can't trespass them, but he does it anyway. And then he goes outside and he just lies. He's like, well, the city, the YMCA, leases the property, and Julie Jamon had to keep setting him straight. Have you seen that officer cam? Look for Sergeant Greenspane, like Google it, his name, or in YouTube. I also have it on my Port Townsend News Facebook page, where Julie had to keep correcting him. She's like, no, they're not leasing the property, right? Like, he thought they were leasing the property, so they have rights as a tenant leasing it. No. Other places, yeah, YMCA might lease the property, or they might own the property or be independent, but the Port Townsend YMCA is paid with your tax dollars to manage a city pool on city property. The city leases the property from the school district, and the YMCA is paid to manage it. And it's not even called the YMCA. That's not even in their name. It's the Young Men's Christian Association. All over Washington State, when you look in the Secretary of State site, there's a lot of them that have the word YMCA in it. But this one don't. It's really old, right? And in the last couple of years, they've changed their directors, right? They've changed how they do their assets. They're extremely corrupt, and it's very prejudiced. Like, in Port Townsend, the school district leased them land for $1 so they can build a daycare. Wouldn't you like that for your nonprofit, right? One nonprofit that's owned by, you know, pretty much Wendy Bart owns it. The other directors keep changing. And so nobody could really own a nonprofit. Right. Well, she calls the shots and she hides the assets. And, yeah, but I digress. So back to Greenspane, who's evil. So, you know, being dumb is pretty evil too. So don't fucking listen to the police. I don't give a shit if I get fucking arrested for saying this, but the Port Townsend police are absolutely dumb, okay? And the ones that maybe aren't dumb are very naive. I mean, they don't understand that everything's political. They don't understand who's blackmailing who. You bring them the facts. The judges, all of them side with corruption. It's a very sick place. Anywho, why am I here? I'm here for the land. Anyway, I digress. So Julie was setting Greenspane straight on all kinds of things. He kept saying the wrong thing. Well, you know, the lease the wrong, the this the wrong. And Julie just kept kind of correcting him. You know, I mean, he's not going, well, I know stuff and you ladies don't know stuff, right? Well, he didn't know stuff. So one of the stupid things he said was that, well, you know, it's YMCA policy, whatever. And then they're like, what? The YMCA's managing city property. He's like, well, you know, it's like national, you know, the national policy, call him bullshit on that one. He didn't know what he's saying. He's just spouting shit, right? So in part of my research, because I'm doing, you know, everything that happened, I'm doing a book, I'm doing different videos, I'm doing different hate crime complaints, federal complaints, and so I'm gathering all the data, as most know, and I have been for the last couple of years. So in that, I ask corporate national YMCA about the Rule of Three, about their policies, about how they remove somebody, about a whole bunch of things. And they said that each local YMCA, like the Port Townsend one, the Jefferson County, Clallam County, whatever their latest name is to hide their assets, are independently owned and operated, and the national YMCA would never override any local rules, right? Now, all you got to do is look this stuff up or, you know, check or ask. But instead, cops like Greenspane want to be like, I know, you know. So always challenge them. They pull you over. No matter what they do, just challenge them because they're dumb, they're corrupt, they're mean, they're biased. 7 of them watching us taking a beating that night because of politics. I mean, they're unconstitutional. They'll follow unconstitutional orders. and violate your rights for a paycheck. People were trespassed and arrested in town for not wearing masks, right? They don't care about the Constitution. They just care about, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, to their bosses, okay? It's true. You look at the videos of the press conference, they're all just standing there. At the press conference, there was an IAP, an incident action plan. I had to sue to get it because they redacted the whole thing. Well, it said, we're going to protect constitutional rights. And, and they knew Antifa was coming. They knew an hour and a half before Antifa was there that they were confirmed, said on the radio, 100 confirmed Antifa. And even if they thought Proud Boys were there, well, why didn't they let the group leaders know? It wasn't ran by far right. I mean, Julie Jamon's lifelong Democrat. Amy, lifelong Democrat. So their whole plan was to protect constitutional rights. Oh, gee, darn. Well, Olson had signed a dispersal order earlier in the day. And in charge of that was Sergeant Jason Greenspane. He wasn't there. He was at the council meeting. Afterwards, you see him on officer cam saying, well, I wasn't even there. He called me, tried to arrest me for violating a protective order because he works, he's one of Libby Winstrom's thugs. Special privileges for corruption. Sick. Anyway, I was scared of him and freaked out. So I called the police here in the county and I asked one of those officers to deal with my criminal charges because Greenspan's, evil. And Greenspan told this guy, the sergeant with the county, I don't know why she has a problem with me. I wasn't even at the press conference. That's why I have a fucking problem with you. Because you weren't at the press conference and you were in charge of crowd dispersal and protecting constitutional rights. The cops kept saying, we can't disperse the crowd and we don't want to make them mad. Well, old ladies are getting beat up. I mean, how sick is that? And then to find out that a dispersal order was signed by the chief of police and Sergeant Jason Greenspan was in charge of enacting it and he wasn't even there. While 8 other Port Townsend police just stood there and watched us get beat up and pummeled and our constitutional rights be violated, would that be okay at any other Port Townsend event? No, but they're teaching us a lesson because they labeled us, TERFs and chuds and the Free Press people. I didn't know any of these people. I went there to speak on the values of pride and stand up for an 8-year-old in my community. These cops are evil. They're evil because they're willing to be unconstitutional and obey orders and violate rights. Women kept going over there and going, women are being assaulted, women are being assaulted. I don't care. It was assault on an officer. The mayor's law firm worked with the prosecutor and got all the felony assaults to go away. 400 people mobbed us. There was 11 of us speakers. They didn't let us into city council. They let the other group in the back door and kept us out deliberately. So when Greenspan's back to the YMCA where he's like, well, yeah, it's a national policy, you can just see his asshole talking. He I had to keep calling him out on everything because he's so dumb. So he's like, well, it's a national policy. No, it's not. They're independently owned. They lease the property. No, they don't. They manage the property. All of these result in criminal charges or trespass for the individual. It ruins people's lives because they're so dumb at the law and they're willing to violate your rights to protect their favorite Libby Winstrom or their favorite prosecutor Kennedy or David Faber and protect whatever other sick fucking shit they got going on in the community that they use to blackmail each other. I mean, whatever, right? So, don't believe a goddamn thing a cop says. Not one. And I'm telling you, you can arrest me for this, I don't even care, but I don't believe a word that Judge Lorraine Rimpson or Judge Walker says either. Judge Walker violated my constitutional rights. Judge Mack ruled that. She listened to what Salish Rescue thugs said, didn't even look into the crimes that I alleged, and went after the messenger. Didn't go after the people who reported the messages or the people the messages was about. Just me, because I second-handed and I'm bad and I'm unlawful to their reputation. They created it. It's their situation. She ruled I can't even say the word Salish Rescue, which is the name of a nonprofit owned by a government official. These guys are absolutely corrupt and lawless. Don't even bother. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Why bother fighting back? They're just going to do whatever they want to do. The only thing you can do is sue them. And yeah, you can sue judges too. Look it up here in Washington. And something recently happened where you can sue them even more. They, what Lorraine Rimpson did to remove that interview that incriminated Libby Winstrom. Oh my God. Anyway, Sergeant Jason Greenspan is a danger to the community.